Whoops. There we go, guys. All right. Thanks for jumping back. Well, for some of you, for jumping back over here from the quick little live stream we just did about all this Elijah Craig drama. Now we can kind of relax a little bit. Now that that is out of the way. And you know, if you want to drop comments in the chat here about all of that, we can totally get into more detail. But I wanted that video to be able to stand alone, you know, and be something that I can link between those two videos back and forth and people can see. So I wanted to keep it a little more structured. It kind of, you know, the very end there lulled a little bit as I looked through the chat, but not a big deal. Thanks for being here, guys. We got a great giveaway tonight. We've got a great flight to do and some stuff to celebrate, which is 5,000 subscribers for the channel. I thought I might get there by the end of the year, and then I dropped that video yesterday, and my God, let's look right now. That video has done 11,000 views in 26 hours, which is almost my most viewed video on the channel. So for me, that's like a, you know, a mini viral kind of thing. Obviously, it's not viral, but for my purposes, it is a very good video to, you know, it's doing well. And we've gotten something like 180 subscribers or something like that. Yeah, so we broke 5K last night before I got off the couch eating dinner. It was kind of crazy. Sarah and I were sitting there watching the numbers go up, what the heck's going on here, guys? So thanks for the congrats, and I see a couple massive super chats just came in. Guys, thank you. I'm going to get right to it, and I got to pour something out. And you know what I'm going to pour out to start the night? We're not starting easy. I'm going to burn my face off with Elijah Craig C923 A233 batch. This just came in the mail today, and William Molnar, it's the same exact laser coat as yours, just that it was bottled at 1:51 in the morning, and yours was later that day. So let's just have a sip of the embattled bottle here, you know? Why not? It's a little cold because it just came off the truck, but that's okay. All right, let's see. Let's see if it's raspberries and vanilla or burnt orange and alcohol. That's the good stuff. So I guess this micro batch is better than the other. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Let me hit you guys. Let me get to a couple of these super chats because I have to just recognize these people right away because this generosity is through the freaking roof. We haven't even really talked about the giveaway yet. Please hit that like button on your way in. Let's get some more folks hanging out tonight. Toshi Beg in with a $100 super chat to kick the night off, which is insane. He says, congrats on 5K. Thank you so much, man. I can't drink every time I read one of these off, though, because I'll be on the floor. What else do we have? Michael Schneider in for a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Michael Schneider, 2 entries. Congrats on the 5K subs. It's always fun when your conspiratorial whiskey messaging can inflame more people. I know. I mean, maybe this is a good data point. Maybe I should, moving forward, have a conspiracy every month and generate channel growth. Thanks, man. William Molnar. Okay. Oh, God. William Molnar. I got to do math now. In for 30 entries, $150 super chat from William Molnar, who got me into this mess with his sample of the A23 batch. I'm just kidding. Congrats on 5K, Cam. Cough micro batch. So happy to see you. Cough micro batch. Get to this milestone. Okay. Well, thanks, man. You know, I love a good micro batch. It's, you know, it's whatever. I need to get some shirts made actually with that. Let's see. I think that's Marshall coming from Brandy Conoco, but I think that's Marshall in for 4 with the little coffee emoji, which, speaking of which, I forgot to have coffee today. I had a headache all day, guys. I was laying around and doing nothing. And finally, Amy Bohm says, congrats on 5K, in for 4. Thank you so much, Amy. Cheers to all you guys sending those Venmo super chats and avoiding that YouTube cut. So I sincerely appreciate it. And if you want to do that or send to PayPal, you can always look at the description of the live streams, and that information is in there. And yes, my first name is Anthony, if it prompts you with that. All right, guys. Last one. Yin's Tube in for 2. Let me get you in here. And he says, congrats, man. Well earned. Now just admit you are a Jim Beam plant trying to tear down ECBP. You caught me. That is funny, right? Doing a big Hardin's Creek stream after all the Heaven Hill drama. All right. So, yeah. I'll have to wait for this to heat back up because cold whiskey for me tightens up, and usually there's more oak on a cold whiskey, whereas a hot whiskey is more alcohol. But it does taste good. I'll do the side-by-side maybe on this stream, but honestly, I'd like to forget about this Elijah Craig BS for a couple days, and maybe next week we can tackle that again and do a blind. All right, David Babcock, I got you in here, man, from PayPal. Thank you so much. In for 2 entries. He says, damn it, Toshi. More like, damn it, William. Someone blocked Toshi from Super Chats. That's funny. Okay, I'm reading through the chat here. No, Will, man, no, don't say sorry for the drama. The drama is keeping life interesting right now. Yin's Tube, I did not try this year's Angel's Cask. No, neither the rye. Yeah, because now we have that rye. I didn't try the rye or the bourbon. Oh, Amy found a Discovery 11 in the wild on the way home from work. That's even more convenient. Nice. Amy, that's a good bottle. The longer my bottle has been open, the better it's gotten. Like, you know, at the beginning, I was a little hesitant. I thought it was good, but not special. I still don't think it's like a knock your socks off kind of bottle, but I think it's very, very good. Especially at SRP. You know, I don't really like paying above that for discoveries. It just doesn't feel right. Truman says, Team A233. Yeah, there we go, man. Okay. Scrolling around. I'm not going to pull everybody up, but I want to say hello to everyone and thank you for being here. Oh, Roy's having some tequila. Nice. And guys, I wanted to talk to you very quickly before we get into this blind flight tonight about videos that are coming up. I made a list earlier, but I got the bottles in front of me. So right now, the big goal for me over this winter break time, because I don't have like concerts for another couple weeks, is to backlog a bunch of content and essentially stay 2 weeks ahead at all times so that if I do fall behind, I still have 2 weeks of content to back me up before I have to, you know, worry about things. So tomorrow, I'm going to do my absolute best, assuming I'm not a total mess at the end of the night of this stream, which we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, I'm going to drop a comparison between Old Overholt 10 and Parker's Heritage 10. The video turned out really, really well. I just need to finish editing. I did a tasting, which honestly didn't go very well. I hope I can edit and make a good video out of it. But Toshi shared with me a sample of Louis XIII Cognac. Crazy bottle, of course. And I have a video of that coming out. And then I shot a bunch of Scotch content. So Scotch Sundays are going to start this Sunday. First video is going to be Aaron 10, the Aaron 10 year, which is really a nice entry-level bottle. I had a video shot already of the Macallan 12 Sherry versus Double Cask. I scrapped it. I didn't like it. So I re-recorded last night just a review of the 12-year Sherry Oak. Then I shot a video of the Lagavulin 16. And finally, because I'm talking about Roy N., Roy sent me a sample of a 21-year Lagavulin distilled in 1985. This is one of the most, like, the favorite bottles of Lagavulin fans, of single malt fans. It's a cult, you know, what do you want to call it? It has a cult following, this particular bottle. He sent me an ounce of this, which was crazy generous, and I tasted it at the end of the night last night of filming, and it was like, if you guys saw Fred Minnick's video of Maker's Cellar, I had that moment for this scotch. It's the best scotch I've ever tasted, and it's not close. So those are the next 4 weeks of Sundays. Going to drop all those reviews and have that consistent series going on the channel, so I'm very excited. All right. So I'm checking the chat. Looks like we're good. What's up, Zach Butler? Driving back from Buffalo. Figured I'd throw the stream on. Oh, you got the $30 non-chill filtered rare breed. I would have bought as many as I could. That is an awesome price, and it's ridiculously good bottle. I see some more super chats coming in. I will get to those in just a second. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Really appreciate it. I'm going to put this Elijah Craig off to the side because my taste buds are going to melt by the time we get into the main event. All right. Let's do let's open a bottle. You know what? Let's open this bottle. Let's do some Wild Turkey Diamond very quickly. And I'll tell Sarah maybe she wants to come in and try this. Oh. Shit. Well, I guess we're not going to open this tonight. This is going to be probably a risky proposition to... I broke the cork. So, well, we can celebrate with this a different day. That's just my luck. You saw it here live. Okay. Dang. Well, that sucks. That's okay. That's all the ECBP drama coming back to bite me. All right. Well, in that case, let's do a couple of things here. We're gonna do in honor of Toshi. We're going to do a couple of Toshi samples. We're going to taste this Seelbach 9-year, and then we're going to get to that Hardin's Creek blind that I talked about. I do want to do the Hardin's Creek blind on a semi-fresh palate, but I don't want to lead off with it right now. I want to have just a couple of pours, get analytical about a few things before we go into no man's land of doing a 5-pour blind. Oh, and I do have some wine openers, but I don't want to deal with this on the stream if the cork falls apart and I have to strain it out. It's like... yeah, I'll do it later. Don't want to put you guys through that. Because you know me. I'm going to be real anal about it, and I'm going to run it through so many filters and blah, blah, blah. All right, so we got those out. So here's what we're going to do first. Some of you may have heard of this bottling. Check these glasses. Okay. I want all the same kind of glasses. They have slight variances. I want the same for the Hardin's Creek blind so I can't tell them apart as I pour them. Some of you may have heard of this bottle. This is the Legiant Yamazaki Cask Finish, 114 proof from Jim Beam. I tasted this for my patrons. When was that last night? 2 nights ago, I think. It was 2 nights ago. I tasted this. So for patrons, you know, guys, I apologize for rehashing this, but for everyone else... some people have been asking me if I've tried this bottle. It's a $200 bottle of, I believe, 8-year beam that has been aged in all sorts of different wine casks. There's like some, Spanish oak. There's Spanish oak that held Yamazaki single malt. There's some other, maybe French oak in the mix too. There's a lot of different oaks. They shipped this over to Yamazaki, whoever the blender is over there, and he put this stuff together. So, $200, not cheap, a pretty cool looking bottle. Normal Legiant for me is not anything special, just saying. I don't think it's terrible, but it's not great. But let's try this thing out, 114 proof, and see what we get. All right. I'll get to those super chats again in Venmo just a sec. I don't believe I've missed any here in the stream. Yins too. I hear the A22 tastes better if you chug it. Finish it, Cam. Let's liven the stream up. Nice. Mark, I'd have to revisit that. I can revisit that in a second if you remind me. Curry note. I remember. Well, that one is, to me, it feels too oaked. There's actually a lot of savory notes to it because of the smaller barrel and I think it was left in the barrel too long. So that would make sense. Curry would make sense to me. Something umami, something, savory, I guess. Someone says can't super chat, Major Zero. Is anyone else having this problem? This is not an encouragement for you to super chat. I'm genuinely asking. YinsTube asks, thoughts on this year's 100 ranking? I kind of spoke to this already, maybe on a Patreon stream or on here. I mean, what I'll say is, like, I'm not saying anything bad about Fred Minnick. The truth of my palate and Fred Minnick's palate, as I watch a lot of his videos, is that we don't align on things. So that's one thing, and that's a separate issue. But then the idea of doing a top 100 all in one sitting, I don't care. I'm happy to be wrong about this. If I ever trained myself to a point and felt like I was able to do it, and then executed it, and then could have even somewhat replicable results on the same set of 100, let's say 2 weeks later. But I don't believe any human on planet Earth can accurately, even semi-accurately, do that top 100 ranking. Like, you might come away with the same top 10, or like maybe 7 of the 10, if you tried to do the same set 2 in a row. But I don't... The idea of doing 100 in that way, with an absolute score system where you assign values to them, put them into kind of sets, and then further identify, further go through and analyze them in those sets of 25 or whatever. I don't think that's an accurate way of doing it. I think the most accurate way you could do it would be to set up a gigantic bracket and go through a gigantic bracket throughout the year. You'd have to do it the following year of the releases, which sucks because it's way after the fact. And then you'd have to do losers brackets along the way, and it would take so freaking long. So I don't think it's, I just don't think it's a good system. It's entertaining. It's like watching sports for whiskey. So in that way, it's kind of fun. But I don't, to me, that list, it just can't hold any water. And if Matt Porter did it, or Jason did it, or these guys that I sincerely trust, if I did it, that list shouldn't mean much. It just is what it is. Now, that top pour of his, the Old Stag, was probably the top whiskey. That sounds right. All right, Doug Figgin. Sorry that I'm taking so long to get there, man. If you continue to tune in on some of these live streams, you'll see, we kind of go all over the place, but that's the fun of it for me, and I think it's maybe come to be an expectation for folks who are watching. So I will get to that Hardin's Creek blind after these 2 pours. I promise you. Maybe 3 pours. But we'll get there, man. We'll get there. We usually do about 2 hours on these streams. There we go. Toshi's jumping in. 8-year beam from Kentucky sent to Japan for finishing. Okay. So yeah, let's get into this. And I'll keep my eye on the chat here, guys. Got a couple more super chats in here. So, Legent Yamazaki finish, only 114. But on the nose, this suffers from what some blends suffer from, and more often what finished whiskey blends can suffer from, which is that the nose is really, really tight on this. Almost feels like you need to put water in here to open it up because it's not wanting to come out of the glass. The same thing I've talked about on my A22 batch of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, and I talk about it on a lot of things. It's a sign for me of an incomplete whiskey blend, when it's like you just can't get it out of the glass. It feels tight. It feels alcohol forward. That said, once you get underneath it, there's some really nice funky fruit notes on this Legent. I think one of the things that I'm noticing now, which I noticed on the Patreon live stream, is that it feels to me like a very segmented blend, where I can smell the Jim Beam notes, I can smell the finishing cask notes, and they don't do this. They don't come together well enough. There is a surprising kind of oakiness, tobacco hanging out in the background that defies the 8-year age statement, and that's probably because of all the finishing casks involved, adding a little bit of this funkiness going on. So let's taste it now. Yeah, I think this might just need water. I think that might be the problem with this. It's a good whiskey. It feels like, as I sip it, again, disjunct is the word that comes to mind. It's 2 layers. There's this constant spice, which is a really, really nice spice. Drinks over 114 proof. It's that prickly Jim Beam cinnamon, prickly Jim Beam oak spice that just pop rocks on your tongue, and it just goes like this. It never lets up, which is cool. And then underneath it, there's these kind of waves of flavor that just keep coming up. You know, you taste a little bit of this sherry finish type note. You taste this, you know, these standard bourbon notes, and they're kind of undulating back and forth. I know it's just like really unnecessarily descriptive. But the problem is, it's just this spice layer here and then all this stuff happening underneath, and it just doesn't come together. Like, that's the biggest problem for me. So I'm going to put a little water in it and see what happens. There are some, but what I want to say is that there are some really good elements in here. It's not a $200 bottle for me. And I think something that would help this would be, I mean, you can never know what the components exactly tasted like in the blend, but a little more age usually helps round those things out, or blending this thing and rebarreling it. Oftentimes, like maybe they did rebarrel this in those used Yamazaki casks. They didn't specify exactly how that process worked. And we all know what happens when I don't specify how processes work, and people blow me up on Facebook. But maybe some more time in a marrying cask, or putting it in a giant vessels to marry the blend together. Maybe that could have helped this. Or maybe even a little more water. I hate to say that, but sometimes whiskeys need to be bottled at a lower proof so that they can actually structurally come together. I know we all like cask strength, but Doug, already gotcha, man. So the Lefty 31 says, hit me with the creek. Looking forward to your review. The Lefty 31. Guys, there will be a second prize giveaway winner tonight as well, who's going to get the same exact sample pack, but just not the official 200 milliliter bottling stuff. It's just going to be from me, from my bottles. I'll send you a sample of the flight. Probably some samples of the other things from tonight too. We'll see what happens. Major Zero jumping in. So okay, cool. The super chats must have worked then. Major Zero in for 1 says Happy New Year. Thanks, man. Roy, what was your best of 2023? I can't tell you yet, Roy, because those videos are going to come out January 1 through 5. I'm going to give my top 5 each their own individual video. They'll be quick videos, probably highly unedited, just kind of identifying them, giving a couple quick tasting notes, saying why I like it, and moving on. But I don't exactly know yet. We are going to do a live stream on Saturday, so in 2 days. I know you're getting a lot of drums and drams, so I apologize. But on Saturday, I'm going to go through a lot of my favorite whiskeys. It's not going to be a blind taste-off like Fred does. It's just going to be me going through some of them and thinking through it and drinking them on the stream, just having a discussion with you guys. And that's going to be my last tasting of a lot of those pours that I've liked this year before I shoot the videos the next day and start dropping them starting on New Year's. So that's the plan. Whiskey Ultra Marathon, says Adam. I must be pretty behind in the chat here. Noah, congrats on 5K. You still planning on doing the old school GTS? Yes. The next videos that I film, Noah, after I do those top 5s, the next one will be the George T. Stagg. And the William LaRue, I haven't decided if I'm going to do that in the same format. I want to see how the George T. Stagg video comes out before I film the William LaRue also. Mark, I think your comment about it being entertaining, I think we're talking Minnick here, is probably half the point or more because it stands out. Yeah, I think so too. And look, I tuned in for some of it, and I'm just sitting there tuning in, and I'm going, I don't know, how a human can do this, but this is fun to watch. So, I mean, guilty as charged. Yeah, and William says, Old Stag may be the best, but who would know? I have no idea. And I will never have the money to taste that whiskey, more than likely. Tim, congrats on 5K. Our palates line up similarly. Also curious to see what does well for you. Thank you, Tim. What's up, Sandeep? Good to see you. Amy, yeah, if you wouldn't mind tracking the YouTube ones, that would be awesome. I didn't want to ask. I always feel bad asking. But yeah, I can cover all the other ones. we're good on the old PayPals. I think we just have some Venmos to get to here in a second. You guys, thank you so much for all the support. It means the freaking world to me. We got VG in here. I'll snag this one real quick. VG in for one says congrats on 5K. Appreciate it. And there we go. Bourbon Guy. I'm based out of Columbus, Ohio. Oh, Nick, what's up, man? Kona Jam's in the house. Okay, back to this Legion. This gets better the more you sip it. It comes together a little bit better. There's a ginger note on the palate now, which I like. That's a very Scotch note for me. Ginger, a little bit of this kind of lemongrass thing. Yeah. It is a good whiskey. If you're a big Jim Beam collector, I understand wanting to grab this Legion, but I couldn't justify it at 200. To me, this drink's more like, and I know people don't like putting a fake price tag on a bottle or saying what you would pay up to. There's a lot of criticism about talking in that way, but I'm going to do it anyways. So, because in this case, this reminds me of like an $80 whiskey. You know, it's not a $200 pour. So, there you go. Whoa. Got a methane note, aka fart. Maybe I just farted. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's been a long day. Cheers from Lake Wiley, South Carolina. I don't know where that is. Lake Wiley. But cheers, man. Roy N. in for one. Thank you. Amy's Gotcha says Happy New Year and excited for the great videos. Thanks, Roy. Next up, we're not going to go to this one yet. We got to go in proof order. Did anybody else in the chat pick this bottle up? The Seelbach 9-year private reserve, 75 corn, 15 rye, 10 malted barley, 131 proof. Did anybody else pick this bottle up? I tasted this for my patrons the other day as well. I'll taste it for you guys. I had an interesting tasting experience with this, both with my patrons and then after I actually got off of doing that Patreon live stream. I continued to sip on this, and I won't spoil anything, but let's see what's going on with this one. Paul Madden in for one. Amy's got you in there. Says, congrats on 5K. Have always enjoyed the channel. Glad to see it is growing and you're able to put out content more consistently. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, man, it's been a struggle trying to figure it all out, and balancing work with it. Of course, for anybody's going to be challenging, but in particular for me, I was always worried about getting tenure at my job, which happened, a few weeks ago, and that takes a big pressure off my shoulders of being, the possibility, I guess, of being scrutinized on every little thing and possibly not getting tenure and losing the job. So now that I'm good to go on that, it's not that I'm going to slack off, but it's that I can sit back, take a deep breath, and okay, I can find my balance now as we move forward. Jeff Perkins, great question, man. I have the 006.1. So this is the second release. They sold out of the first release fairly quickly. They got some more to market. I would imagine they just dumped similar barrels and created a second blend. And so I'm reviewing the 006.1. I don't know if Brian's in here right now or not, Abandoned Bourbon. If he is, he could speak to whether or not this came from the same exact barrels as the first batch, or if it's truly a different run of barrels they blended together. I'm not sure. Whoa, Larceny A124 is out? That's news to me, but they're a little early, huh? That's awesome. Guy says, I grabbed one, didn't open it yet. Okay. Let's do some Venmo Super Chats before we get to this Seelbach Private Reserve, because I have a few of these, more than a few of these right now. The last one that I got in here was Amy. So now I'm going to grab this one from James. James says, congrats on 5K. In for 4. I got you, James. Thank you so much, man, for the $20 super chat. Zach Butler is in for 2. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you. Cheers, man. Thank you, guys. Adam Boothby. Let me get Adam in here. Adam Boothby with a $10 super chat in for 2. He says, in for 2, love the channel. Thanks for being curious and sharing your thoughts. Thanks for listening to them, Adam. I'm notorious. I'm a notorious oversharer, so thanks for checking it out and being willing to listen. Marshall, was that you earlier, by the way? In for 4, $20 super chat says, congrats on 5K. Hope you enjoy those K-Luke Batch 5. Yes, guys, Marshall hooked it up today. And, you know, I love that K-Luke Batch 5. And he totally hooked it up. So I'm excited for this. I poured some out earlier. I have a side-by-side setup for 5, 6, 7. I still haven't done it yet. I was going to do it after the stream. It is good. But I'm curious to see if it's as good as Batch 7, which is very solid. Batch 6, definitely my least favorite of that bunch. All right, Travis is in for 4. Says, you're saying there's a chance. There is a chance, Travis. And I'm probably going to throw something extra into the giveaway because of the 5K celebration. We might have a third bottle to throw in there, or third prize. We'll see what happens. Guy, holy crap, man. Guy with a $100 super chat. Dude, cheers. Thank you so much. Says, congrats on 5K. Very well deserved. Thank you, Guy, for your support, man. That is awesome. Got two more, and then I promise we'll get into this seal box. Adam Ferris for 2 says, party emoji, whiskey emoji. Cheers, man. And Jeff Perkins, also in for 2. Congrats on 5K. Thank you all so freaking much. Let's get back to this now. Here we go. Durrell, man, I've not tasted. I didn't get a bottle of the Keenan Reserve. I have essentially sworn off for the year buying finished whiskey because, to me, I mean, as you know, and I guess, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Durrell, but for me, I feel like there's a growing consensus that so much of this finished whiskey is just crap and it's just a money grab that I just was like, you know, unless it's a cigar blend, you know, pre-batch 100 or whatever, I'm really not going to buy finished whiskey this year because there's so much more I could do with that money with standard releases, I think. DC, thank you so much, man. Cam's giveaways are legit. Congrats on 50K. I wish it was 50K. That'd be awesome, huh? Good to see you, DC. Truman wanted the Seelbach 9 while it's been hurting from the other whiskeys. I was forced to buy this month. I know. Johnny, Cam, 10-year or 10-year. It's whatever you want. Amy, sworn off for the year, December 28th. That's the kind of shit I pull. Oh, good Lord. All right. Seelbach's Private Reserve. Now, here's the deal with this. They don't say where this is from. The mash bill 75-15-10. I've never seen that mash bill before. I got a private message from somebody who I'm not going to name, said this is from Heaven Hill. So this might be Heaven Hill stuff. I'll tell you what, 131 proof, the proof makes sense. It doesn't smell like Heaven Hill, really. Not really. This is another example, just like that Legion was, of a closed-off whiskey. The proof is outdoing the flavors in this one. It's about 9 years, 5 months. But 131's a little hot, so I get like an actual gasoline note on this. It's the same gasoline note that I talked about on the Black Label Origin Bardstown Bottled and Bond Weeder. That has kind of this lemon/gasoline note to it. So this has that. But you can tell underneath that note that there's really nice sweetness. This is not a dark whiskey by any means. This is on like the upper 2/3 of the flavor pyramid for me, where like the lowest thing that I'm smelling, the darkest thing that I'm smelling is, some sort of kind of caramelized orange type note. And then as you move up to me, this has like, peach, nectarine kind of things going on. White pepper, vanilla. So it's very much on that brighter end of the spectrum. But at 131 proof with a 9.5-year age statement, on paper, this thing checks a lot of boxes. So let's taste it now. What's up, Brian? He's lurking. So this whiskey gets better through the whole sip. So this reminds me a lot. I guess I said it didn't taste like Heaven Hill, but it's drinking like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C923 A22 batch. It's drinking with that kind of closed off nose, but as it ramps up, it fills out in the mid palate, and it's this humongous boozy caramel, orange, peach kind of note. It's just so full on the mid palate, and the finish lasts forever. So as a drinking experience, like for someone who is not big into nosing their whiskey, who just wants to sit and, rocks glass, enjoy something that's going to keep their attention, this is it. This is a very good option for that. And it shows a lot of potential, but I think the proof is a little hot. Now, with that said, I'm going to do now what I did. The cap is always too much trouble. I'm going to do what I did now on my Patreon stream. And I'm going to throw a little water in it. All right. And Brian says that one's got to open in the glass for the best reward, and that makes sense. Letting this thing sit in the glass, and in my mind, when I have a whiskey that's kind of closed off this way, let a small amount sit in the glass. Don't do a big pour, because it doesn't have the chance to, good Lord, to kind of open up the same way. So if you just have a little pour, it usually does better to let that thing sit out for 20 minutes, get some air. Oh, look at that, Brian. Sure would suck if there was a cab finish of it about to be pulled. Oh, man, that would suck, because I'm not buying finished whiskey this year. When's it getting pulled? Oh, Lord. Okay, so you need to throw water in this thing. For those of you out there that picked up a bottle of this, I can only speak to batch 6.1. If you throw water in this, it completely opens up. And the flavor, it's like proof flavor, and it does this, and they come completely into focus at some point. Oh, it's a single barrel. Interesting. Robotic. Pour it over a dinner plate. Let it really open up. Yeah, then just get a straw, slurp it up the dinner plate. This whiskey, even though it loses a little presence with the lowered proof, throw some water in it. I would love to, if this is Heaven Hill in a unique mash bill, I would love to see what it's like at 12 years old, because I think you would round a lot of that out, build in some extra flavor. I think it could be some interesting stuff. I like it with the water added, and that's not a common thing for me with American whiskey. But I can't get over this like nectarine, peach note. Brian, what were the official tasting notes on here? I'm going to read what you guys wrote. And Brian, did you write this? First bottle, I suggest to open for 30 minutes. Oh, this is the, is this the first batch? Yeah, I want to find the second batch. Or maybe they have the same tasting notes. 6.1, there it is. So here's the listing for this one. Yeah, I think it's the same notes. The nose is candy ginger. But I think did I say that on this one, or I say that on the last one? Orange marmalade. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Palate opens with gingerbread cookies, caramel, stewed apples. That makes sense. Rich and sweet, viscous, drinks much lower than its stated 131. For me, not so much, but it's like up front it doesn't, but in the back it does. On the finish, there's a flash of nutmeg, tangerine. Dude, I'll take this. I'll take this. This is great. It's a note of Blake's. Dude, The gingerbread thing I didn't quite pick up, but it makes sense. Stewed apples definitely makes sense. No marzipan. It's good. I like the water, though. Let's see. Let me smell this new Elijah Craig C923. Oh, dear God. Yeah, this is a good bottle. This is a good bottle. Oh. Wow. All right. I can't wait to do that comparison. What was I going to get? I thought I had a dump cup. Maybe not. We'll just have to make one. All right. The ginger note is totally on this Seelbach. I can't remember if I called that on this one or on the Legion, but that candy ginger note is very accurate. Audio Junkie says, I want a bottle of Calumet 16 from Cameron on a live stream. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah. Amy, click that like. Helps the channel. Let's get Cam to 10K. 10K would be great, Amy. Yeah, I mean, so much content coming out now, guys, that I'm hoping that the momentum will really carry through. I mean, already since the stream started, I've gotten 15 more subscribers. It's just, the numbers are going crazy, and I know it's just because of that one video, and I don't expect that momentum to necessarily stick around, but it's been fun. That video has 200 comments on it. That's a hilarious number for me. 200 comments. What are we doing? Daniel P. You can't know if you actually like the C923 because you know what you're drinking. It only works if it's a blind mystery. Yeah, you know, what's funny is, like, some people said, you need to do it double blind. And I'm like, well, how can I do that? You know, you're gonna wait 18 months for Sarah to pull that exact combination of things for me to taste on a live stream? Like, what are we talking about? Single blind is enough in that case. A triangle blind, you know, that should be revealing enough, I think. And I'll be sure to cheat so that I can really prove my point. I'm just kidding. All right. What was I going to grab? I guess we're going to do this one. Nick says, same goes for soy sauce. I did want to, so I'm going to taste two more things here. Then we'll get to the Hardin's Creek, where it's going to take an hour to get to the friggin' Hardin's Creek. I'm sorry, guys. You know how it works. Again, patrons, I'm sorry to taste this again in front of you. I'll make this one quick. This is a bottle that I don't believe I ever had the chance to taste last year. The Parker's Heritage Wheat, Heavy Char Wheat Whiskey. I think it's 11 years old, 122 proof. I tasted this on my Patreon live stream on Tuesday, and I cannot believe how good this stuff is. And not in good in a very different way. So let's get into this quickly, and then we're going to get to the River Roots single barrel port finish, that 146 proofer. Jason drank this on one of his live streams. Toshi sent me a sample of this as well. We'll taste this last before we go back down and proof to the Hardin's Creek blind. There we go, Michael S. Candy Ginger was my stripper name in college with my red hair and all. Ooh, all right. Candy, like Stag Junior Batch 15. Oh, Keith Thompson, man. Sorry if I missed this. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat, man. Amy's got you in there. Cheers, much appreciated. All right, on the nose, this Parker's Heritage Wheat Whiskey, which I think, did Fred Minnick have this as like one of his top whiskeys of the year, or was it like an Ascot Award thing? I remember him talking about it and loving this whiskey. It's so funky smelling on the nose. It's this, oh, Jesus Christ. I just dump some of that in the river roots. And although at 146 proof, it's probably not going to change the profile very much. So let's roll with it. On the nose, this thing is like brown butter, wheat bread. And also kind of like a bubblegum note. It tastes like strawberry preserves on burnt wheat, buttered wheat bread. Buttered toasted wheat bread, strawberry preserves, amazing spice. That Parker's Heritage Wheat Whiskey is a home run for me. There's a little bit of a minerality actually to it. There's in a blind. This could confuse me with George Dickel. Strangely, I didn't pick this up on Tuesday. Oh geez, now I can't get it out of my head. Uh-oh. I like bourbon a lot. Says I feel lucky. Thank you, man. Amy's gotcha. Toshi bought 4 of the Parker's Wheat. Yeah, it's very good. This weird Dickel thing is appearing. I don't know what's wrong with me. Oh my god! But when you drink it, it's like a perfect experience on the palate, and way spicier than you would think for a wheat whiskey like this. The heavy char note, like the heavy char barrels, I think are what are helping this drink this way. And the finish just goes on and on and on. That Pop Rocks pepper experience all throughout the palate. Man, that's good stuff. All right, here we go. Now we're on to the truly high proof shenanigans. 146.56. So closer to 150 than it is 140. I'm going to look this up one more time on Seelbach. Get the stats right. It was a $275 bottle. I contemplated getting one of these. So age, it says 13 years old. Now, please, if somebody in the chat knows the rules on this, it's 13-year-old, 21% rye bourbon from MGP, I would have to imagine. But it says the finish is 6 years, which is crazy, in a port barrel. Does that 6 years count towards the total 13, or is it 13 base, 6 additional? Let me know what you think. Toshi, I don't think it's Kentucky, man. I mean, it's 19. Does it say Kentucky on the back, Toshi? Because this is the MGP mash, and I saw some discussion of this online, and it's labeled Kentucky. Whoa. I didn't know if they could count that 6 years in the 13 or not. Wow. So what is that? Who makes a 75-21-4 mash bill in Kentucky? Adam says, congrats on 5K subs. I just subscribed as well. Awesome. Found you through the micro batch drama. Let's go. Thanks, Adam, man. That's awesome. I know. I got to make some shirts that just say hashtag micro batch. That's got to be the first merch drop from Drums and Drams. I'll wear it every day. Great video and follow-up live on that. Thanks, man. Thanks for being here, for subscribing. I hope, stick along for the ride. That's not the norm on the channel, but it was certainly entertaining. On label, distilled in Kentucky, says Toshi. Wow. I've got to find out who makes a 75-21-4 mash in Kentucky, because Four Roses is 75-25. It's one off of that MGP mash bill. And at 13 years old, interesting, man. And Toshi says 13 years pre-finish. Damn. All right, well, here we go. It smells ridiculous on the nose. So 6 years in a port barrel is going to typically blow a whiskey out of the water. But the older the whiskey that goes into a finishing barrel, the better it stands up to the finishing barrel. I think that's a pretty universally accepted truth. Like when you think of Chateau de la Baude Batch 1, that bottle was 12-year MGP. and put in that Armagnac cask for 18 months, that stood up so well to the Armagnac cask. And the Armagnac and those kind of dark fruit notes in the MGP mingled, in my mind, perfectly. I think it's to me, it's a perfect bottle. This is along those lines. It's just that the proof is so so high that, excuse me, like you're overshadowing a little bit of flavor because there's so much heat on the nose. But it's not one of those things where you put your nose in and you go, oh my God, and you recoil. It's just, you smell the aroma of that ethanol note, but you don't smell the heat of it. Like when you put your nose in this glass, 146 proof. I can go completely all the way in, take a big inhale, and it doesn't burn my nostrils out at all. And that's a testament to the concentrated flavors in here and how balanced it is with the ethanol. That is, in my mind, a sign of at least structurally good whiskey. It might not be, flavor-wise, it might not be your thing, but structurally, it's a great great blend. I didn't say anything about the nose, sorry. I mean, this reminds me of Chateau de Labaud in a lot of ways. This is a special bottle. And I don't think it's blown out by the port finish. I don't think that. Wow. It's so much juicy plum notes, but also dried notes, like dried dark fruit and fresh dark fruit all together. Chili pepper spice, I would say, is kind of like the spice note in here. So it's a flavorful spice, but it's not necessarily baking spice. It's got that intensity of the chili pepper thing, which to me is why this comes off like an MGP finished bourbon, because it has some herbal notes in it, and I would classify that chili pepper spice in the same kind of category, which reminds me of what an MGP bourbon might do in this kind of finishing. But it's like, it's all of those fresh and dry dark fruit notes with coffee and fudge. Some kind of nuttiness. Walnut or hazelnut maybe. It's so good. Man. I wish I would have got a bottle of this. This, you know what? 5,000 subs. We're going to do it. I have only one of these left, and I need to send Jeb a sample. And I was going to send him the end of this bottle. But we're just going to, I'll crack the fresh bottle for that. And we'll do this comparison. I don't know how much. Yeah, I can get away with a little pour. So actually, I've still got some in here. So this is Chateau de Labaud Batch 1. And just a reminder of the proof, 118.4. Same proof, I think, as Lux Row 12. Oh, Toshi, you've got one. I forgot, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, do this comparison. This is awesome. Okay. Now, the proofs are, like, way off. So keep that in mind. Anybody that's watching. Oh, jeez. Oh, geez. There might be a new sheriff in town in terms of best finished whiskeys I've ever tasted. Now, let me say this about the River Roots, though. There is a problem for me on the nose where it has a little bit of a light whiskey green sappiness to it. And I think that's just the proof. I think that's just that top ethanol note. It's not intense, but it just has the smell of just intense high proof alcohol. So it comes off a little bit sappy on the nose, even with the high age. Chateau de Labaud, you can smell the Armagnac in here. It's more of that great brandy note, where usually on the Chateau de Labaud I get more dark fruit, but because the River Roots is so intense, That's covering those bases for me. It's basically like the Coy Hill version of Chateau de Labatt, I think. But Chateau de Labatt is way more balanced and like, yeah. So that was the Bardstown on the palate. Now, Bardstown on the palate, a little skunky. And this is a great brandy note that can happen sometimes. You get a little of this skunky kind of element. It's something that I've never been bothered by on this bottle because just subjectively I love it so much. Oh, it's so balanced, though. Tim, man, I'm so curious about this Bardstown Amaro Nonino finish. I didn't see what's actually in the blend. I think it is a blend of bourbon and rye, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know exactly what it is. System Trend, how many other bottles do you have that are not on camera in the background? So what you see here, and then there's probably 40 bottles on the ground. Yeah, I'd say there's 40 bottles on the ground. Some of them waiting to be traded or sold in local groups. Just, you know, I sell a lot of my open bottles way under cost on open in local groups. Like, I'll try them. It's not usually even bottles I review. It's just like I don't have room for these bottles. So there's good stuff in there. There's Larceny Barrel Proofs. There's Yellowstone 2022. There's Traverse City Cherry Finish. You know, there's some good Starlights, Templeton 10-Year Rye. So that's over there by the barrel. And then I've just got some bottles I need to kill on the floor. A bunch of Knob Creek picks, OKI, some stuff like that. And then what you can't see over here is the bar cart. I mean, you can see the very edge of it right there. That bar cart probably has 50 bottles on the two bottom layers. And they're all drinkers, but I never really get to them. Hard Truth, Rye. I see a bunch of McKenna's open, some Pikesville, Woodford Masters Collect, like 10 Cup 10 you can see. So I would say off camera is like 90 more bottles over there. And then I have all Elijah Craig barrel proofs in front of me back to 2017 on a shelf here. Larceny Barrel Proofs, Bernheim. And then on the bottom, all the picks that my friends have done. So like all of the Matt Porter picks I have, the Junkies picks, a bunch of stuff down there. So 90, I would say off camera, there's probably 130 extra bottles in the room, plus whatever you see. There's probably 200 samples here as well in front of me, besides the ones that are on this stack, which I just reorganized and dusted the other day. And then in the basement, there's probably another 200 or 300 bottles, I would say, you know. Four-Gate is working on a batch 3 CDL. Okay. Johnny, what about the bunker? Yeah, the bunker's probably 50, but I mean, I whittled it down quite a bit. 50 bottles maybe in the bunker, 60, but I'm only keeping epic stuff that, you know, yeah. The thing that I have the most of in my bunker is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof old batches. Lots of A117, C919. And then I just have like some Michter's 10 Ryes, some Russell 13s, one Great Four Roses pick, a Kentucky Owl Rye, like stuff that I absolutely love. And then a few nostalgia bottles down there too. Tim says, oh, wow. So this is the Amaro Nonino finish. 80% Kentucky 12-year. So 12-year turkey is most of the blend. Holy shit. Could be beam, but I mean, everyone's saying that stuff is turkey that they've got. 10% 7-year MGP rye and 10% 6-year MGP rye. Finished for 17 months. Wow. Yeah, Nick, C919 is the freaking, oh my God. It's my jam. All right, so back to this comparison. I've never noticed just how Armagnac-y this Chateau de Labatt smells. I've always just taken it for granted, and I never really do it in a comparison. But compared to this port finish, I mean, they're both fantastic bottles. This River Roots, this River Roots single barrel is like the Coy Hill / 13th Colony version of Chateau de Labatt. That's kind of what it is for me. And frankly, I think it's one of the more special whiskeys I've tasted all year. And I still have about, I don't know, almost an ounce. So I'm going to throw just a smidge, probably more than a smidge of water in this and see what water does. 146 proof. It can handle it. Toshi says chocolate maple syrup on the finish. I agree. I'm there right now after that sip. Yeah. To me, the chocolate's like fudge. That's why I keep saying Coy Hill. It's like that fudge brownie thing. Water. Toshi, throw a little splash of water in it, man. And when you get to the bottom of the glass, you have like one sip left. Throw a little water. It helps it out actually quite a bit. Less fireworks, but really great. All right. I'm going to keep the Chateau de la Botte up here. Don't want to waste that. Let's get into the Hardin's Creek finally. Geez, 113 in here. Thank you for hanging around this long. And especially thank you to those who are new to the channel as of the recent video and all this Elijah Craig stuff. I sincerely appreciate you being here, and I hope you stick around, you know. It's definitely a nerdier whiskey channel, but I think we have a lot of fun as well. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to triple sticker this just to be really safe. I have to throw these stickers on, so I apologize in advance for taking a second to get this prepared. Just as a reminder for, you know, super chats and giveaways and stuff, which we will at the latest get to that giveaway by 10 p.m. Eastern. The top prize in the giveaway is this beautiful Hardin's Creek sampler, which is such a cool... When Sarah was with me when we went to this, I never take her bourbon shopping because she never approves. But we were out running errands, and we went into the store, and she saw this, and she loved this thing. And I was like, I was going to give away a Jacob's Well Batch too, and and it's like, we got to give this away. This is so badass. So I'm going to throw in my own 200 milliliter sample of Jacob's Well Batch 2 in a flask and throw it in with this. So that's the top prize. Second prize will win the exact same thing with these pours, but just not in this presentation. It's just going to be the 1 ounce samples of each of those pours. So you can do this comparison one time yourself with some other samples. And why not? Let's give one of these away too. So we'll have a third place winner so the third person in the drawing will win this, an unopened Seelbach. And this is one I was like, do I give it away? Do I not? Do I like it enough to give this bottle away? I do, under the condition that you experiment with this bottle. Whoever wins this, you can do with it whatever you want. You can sell it, trade it. I don't care. But if you do open it, I would encourage you to experiment with some water, because I think a little splash of water in this is when this thing gets special. Beforehand, it's a proof lover's dream. After a few splashes of water, it's more balanced. So we'll give one of these away too tonight. Toshi's going to add some water. All right. So we got 2 stickers on this. So I'm going to sticker these things up. Let me know what you guys are sipping on this evening. Anything special in the glass for anybody? We're in that weird week, you know, that week between Christmas and New Year's, where it's just like you see all those memes. People are like, it's that week between New Year's and Christmas, and you know, I've got a block of cheese in my hand and I don't know what I'm doing, or whatever those are. I think that's pretty funny. D. Willett says, did you say A117 is really good? Yeah, I think A117 might be my favorite batch subjectively. In a blind, it probably wouldn't hold up. But A117 has an immense amount of dusty notes to it, old butterscotch, while also having enough of like a modern Elijah Craig profile. It's like the perfect balance for me. So A117 is a bottle that if I'm ever looking around the room and I don't know what to drink on a given night, I grab A117. It's my fail-safe whiskey, and for very good reason. So I know secondary, I've paid anywhere from like $175 to $250 for bottles of that at this point, because it's so many years out from the production. I would have no problem buying an A117 for $200. Like, that's an easy buy for me. If I see it, I just buy it because it's not being made anymore, and it's a very, very special bottle. Yen's Tube, would a good bottle ECBP beat Stag? Yes. Any day of the week it would. Unless it's a George T. Stag from, let's say, 2008 to 2010. But yeah, ECBP is just... when I think of a bourbon profile, I just think of Heaven Hill. I think of that like Elijah Craig barrel proof, bombastic caramel, oak, leather, funkiness. That's bourbon for me. And Buffalo Trace is... I love their products. Their good products are so good, but so many of them are mediocre. And Stag, to me, while there are good Stag batches, I love 22 and 23A, I still think, on the whole, it's mediocre compared to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. On the whole. George T. Stag is a different story, but I haven't liked 22 or 23. 2020 I loved. Jacob's Well 1, Jacob's Well 2, Boston, Claremont, Frankfurt. So this is what we'll do. Make sure that's on good. I'm watching comments roll in on my phone right now, you know, still on that Elijah Craig laser code video. It's like, oh my God. I just stopped reading the comments. Like, unfortunately, it's untenable to read all of the comments and respond to all the comments. You just kind of have to, you know, cut your losses on stuff like that. Albert, thank you for the super chat. Let me get that up on the screen. We're just about ready for this blind. Albert says, sipping on some K-Luke Batch 7. Love the content. Batch 7 is very, very good, Albert. Thank you for the super chat, man. And let me just make sure. Amy's got you. Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Albert. Truman, love the 22 George T. Stag. Haven't picked up the grass, you know, you mentioned. Yeah. And for me, it's just that one note. Otherwise, it's a very good batch. I think it's better than 2023. But I don't have any more 2022 to put in the comparison. But I will have a video coming out it should be in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it's going to be in 2 weeks because next week I want to do all the top 5 videos, which is going to be George T. Stag 08, 09, 2010, 2020, and 2023. So it misses 2022 and it misses 11 to 19. But a 5-way George T. Stag comparison, which is cool. D. Willis got a bunch of a couple A117. Nice. It's a great one. God. Treasure those things, man. And if you ever want to get rid of one, please sell it to me because I'm going to drink it. If you ever just, you know, you don't want it or whatever, I'm not encouraging you to sell them to me, but if you ever do think of it, please email me because it's one of my favorite bottles of all time. All right, guys. Oh, geez. Here we go. We've got all this ready to be poured out. Let me get a couple PayPal Super Chats and Venmo Super Chats, and then we'll get to this Hardin's Creek blind. Jeffrey Smith on PayPal. Jeffrey Smith in for, not 34, but in for 4. Says, it is Jeff, great show, and love the content. Thank you, man. I got you in there. And now let's get to Venmo and grab a couple final Super Chats here. We got 3. Chris is in for 1. I got you, man. He says, congrats on 5K. Actually, we only have 2 more. We got Adam Boothby. There we go. Adam's jumping in a second time. Thank you, Adam. Oh my gosh, I can't type. Adam is in for another 2. He says, because the berry jam notes in Boston will eventually win you over. I hope they do. Boston Unblind is my favorite. So let's see how it pays, you know, or how it plays out on this blind flight. Cool. I think we are off to the races now. So let's start pouring. Jacob's Well Batch 1. See, this is all I've got left, so I just can't include this in those giveaways, which sucks. I wish I would have known that any of these bottles were going to be coming out. Let's get enough. I think that's probably enough in the glass, but let's be safe. There's one final sip left in this bottle. All right. And just a quick proof reminder, Jacob's Well 1 is at 108, and it is 184 months, age stated. 108. Jacob's Well 2 should be this one. 211 months, which is 17 years, 7 months. And this is 109 proof. So 108 for batch 1, 109 for batch 2. Got to match the pours of these so that I... Come on. Maybe that first pour was a little heavy. Okay, whatever. So that's batch 2. And now we're going to get to the... so you got Boston first. My favorite. I do have a backup of Boston, thankfully. I love this stuff. James Rutledge, thank you for the $5 super chat. Let's see here. Amy's got you in. Appreciate it. 1 entry for the giveaway. Thanks for the support, James. Cool. And then all the Boston, Frankfurt, Claremont is going to be at 110 proof. Claremont, good. Okay, let's see. Yep. James says, meant to write congrats on 5K, but I fat fingered it instead. Cheers anyways. Thanks, man. I gotcha. A little more. All right. Now I think I need just a splash more. I do not want to be able to tell anything apart on these. I hate that. Good. All right. So I don't have note cards made for these, and I apologize for that. But you know what I'm drinking overall of the 5, and so I'm just gonna mix these up, and I will just kind of, along the way figure out what's what. I'll try to be quick about this. Sorry for the noise. Ready? Here we go. Oh no, I'm about to pour that out. Okay. Cool. All right, we'll look up one more time. I have no idea what is what at this point. There we go. Cool. So we're going to go left to right on this. And left to right will be glass A, B, C, D, E. Let's just call it that. A, B, C, D, E, left to right. And it's your left to right, my right to left. Let's get ready for this blind. All right, sip and slice. Don't see any of the Hardin's Creek line here, unfortunately. Oh, man. I saw that we just got some in Ohio. And the Boston quickly sold out at a lot of places. I was curious if it would be Boston or Claremont that went first. And it seemed to be Boston around these parts. So, anyways, man, got you in for 2. Amy's got you, so good luck in the old giveaway. Yin's 2 Matt Madness Champions match is January 12th, so 2 weeks from tomorrow. Very excited for that. I got to start training again. Let's start with glass 1. I should take some notes here. And when I say glass 1, I mean glass A. Let's find a blank page here. Okay. Hardin's Creek Flight. A, B, C, D, E. And the goal here in this flight is not necessarily to guess what's what. They're so similar in profile that I think I could really trip myself up trying to do something like that. So this is just to rank favorite to least favorite, and then give whoever wins those 2 giveaways the opportunity to do this flight themselves. Unfortunately, again, minus Jacob's Well Batch 1, which I wish I could provide samples for. I just I don't have access to another bottle of that. So, we'll see. Hopefully Jacob's Well 1 is not my favorite of the night, because that would totally suck if that's the one I can't include. We'll see what happens. Toshi sees Hardin's fairly readily available in California, around 200. Yeah, I mean, Toshi, there's not a big secondary markup, so on secondary you can find them 2 to 220 per bottle, which is cool. Toshi likes Claremont the best. Yeah. Frankfurt is usually not the favorite. It's usually either the sweetness of Claremont or the oak of Boston. But we'll find out right now blind. So here's glass 1 on the nose. Okay, smells like old Jim Beam. Glass 2 on the nose. I'm just kidding. I want to do a quick down the line. Glass 4 stands out. Glass 1 and glass 4 stand out. So if I just had to make guesses right off of the nose, I would say 1 and 4 are the Jacob's Wells. But I'm not going to let that hold any, I've said hold water a lot of times tonight. I don't know if that's like my new catchphrase, but I'm not going to let that have an impact on the way that I judge these, because that's probably not correct. But if I had to guess, 1 and 4 would be those Jacob's Wells. They have something that stands out about them. I've got one more PayPal super chat. Let's just get this real quick. From Tim Evans. Thanks, man. And for 4. Says cheers, Cam. Cheers, man. All right. Cool. Let's go down the line now. Oh my gosh. See, 22 more subscribers since the last time I checked. That kind of growth would take 5 days any other time. It's really remarkable what that one video did to the channel. I can't believe it. Hold water on the micro batches, says Roy. I love it. I freaking love it. SC Coin Hopper says, what's your best $100 bottle? Jeez. Maybe that. Maybe I mean, it depends on if you're going by current day pricing or when pricing when you would have bought it. Like some of the 15-year Knob Creek picks, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, just kind of more generally. But I also really love that Redemption High Rye Bourbon, which is $100 SRP. Redemption High Rye 10-year, I think is so good. That MGP profile. It also could be Bourbon Junkie's Virtue Spirits Rye 1, which is such a crazy rye whiskey. So I don't know. I don't do well answering questions like that, unfortunately. What's yours? Let me ask you. Let me turn it back on you. What's your best $100 bottle? What would you say? So glass 1 in this flight, or glass A, is smoky cherry tobacco. Smoky cherry tobacco. Like, here's the thing as I do this flight. I just want to add the kind of upfront generality to all 5 of these, that they're all going to taste like old Jim Beam. They're all going to have oak, some level of peanut, some level of tobacco. They're going to be a little sharp probably, because Jim Beam's kind of known for that rough around the edges profile. So that's the upfront. So every note that I talk about on these is going to be the notes that stand out of that texture, because that's the baseline. So on this one, it's smoky cherry tobacco. In a little like cardboard box. It's very good. The fruitiness I like about this one. Which is why I said it could have been one of those Jacob's Wells. They tend to be fruitier than the terroir series or whatever they call that. What's up, Brian? Yeah, you be beaming. All right, glass 2. This is funky. This is mineral. So this is a little bit of that Jim Beam profile, actually. Or excuse me, George Dickel. It's got that minerality. Also that what had that earlier? Something I tasted in a. Oh, the Parker's Heritage Wheat had that kind of Dickel almost. This has a little bit of that minerality, peanut butter, but very chocolatey on this one. Not a lot of fruit. Sour on the palate. Sour and less spice than glass 1. Glass 1's very good. And here's my prediction for this flight. My prediction is that the Jacobs Wells do better than the others because they have that blend of mash bills, and they are typically a little spicier and a little more lively on the palate. Even though Jacobs Well Batch 2 is 7 months older than the Frankfurt, Claremont, and the Boston, that also is more lively. It's lower proof and older, and it still has more life to it than those other 3. My prediction is that the Jacobs Wells do better than the others on here. But this flight for me, I'm going to do my best to balance like blending and just kind of overall structure and construction of the bourbon versus my own preferences for the tasting notes. I'm not going to go fully one way or the other. I'm going to try to balance it as best I can. All right, so I'm going to take a few notes here. Cherry, tobacco, smoke, lively, good finish. All right, glass 3 now. So SC Coin Hopper says, so far, Blanton's single barrel. Yeah, Blanton's is a very solid bourbon, and it totally depends because it's a single barrel on which one you have. You know, what year, what barrel. It's so all over the place. I don't like all the dogging on Blanton's. I really like the pour. And I've had some really outstanding Blanton's pre-2020 bottlings that aren't gold, that aren't straight from the barrel, just regular Blanton's pre-2020 that have been incredible whiskey. So it really depends. People love to hate Blanton's, and it's fun to hate Blanton's. Same for me with Macallan, you know. Kind of talked about that on the Macallan video I just recorded. Sip and Slice. Best $100 bottle is 2 bottles of Rare Breed. I love it. Hey, Mojo. Hey, man. Hang on. Dude, I literally just got this bottle in today, and I was thinking of you when I was opening it earlier on the live stream, and I freaking broke the cork. So I've got to work this out as soon as the stream's done because I want to taste this before I go to bed. But, guys, Mojo busted out a Wild Turkey Diamond at Pours in the Park 2022, the first Pours in the Park. He busted one of these out, and it was, I love this bottle. So good. There we go, man. And I know you picked a few of these up, you said, at a good price. But I paid secondary, but I was really excited for it. And I wanted to celebrate with it tonight, but, you know, freaking cork. Oh, they all break. Damn. It is a solid, man. For 91 proof, it's so good. Nick, doing some real domestic stuff here. Had to fix the ice maker. Peerless Rye single barrel store pick. In the glass. All right, glass 3 real quick. Or C. Ooh, this one is nice. So glass 2 is glass 2 is a little dead in the water, and I'm concerned that that's the Boston. But again, I don't want to think that way, but I can't help but to do that a little bit. Glass 3. Ooh, that is good. The finish goes away very fast. Glass 3 is chocolate-covered cherries. So it's like the chocolate from glass 2, the cherries from glass 1. funky, funky oak. Chocolate covered cherries, which I'm going to say is mix of 1 and 2. It's like chicken scratch on this paper. Yes, dude, I've had Blanton straight from the barrel. I've got one behind me, actually. And I unfortunately don't have a good barrel of it, so my bottle is not very good, but I've had some other samples from different barrels that have been outstanding. Hey, what's up? Have Jeep Will Whiskey is in the house. What's up, man? All right. So I'm just going to do these first impressions very quickly. Glass 4 now. Ooh, vanilla. Ooh, I love... When you're talking old whiskey vanilla, it gets this creaminess to it and this presence in the glass. Like, I think I often talk about it too much, I think, when I say aged vanilla, when I'm referring to older whiskey. When I say aged vanilla, if you're kind of going, what does that mean? Before you go, that's stupid, or like, I know what vanilla smells like in a glass. If you've never had like a King of Kentucky, Evan Williams 23, something with a ton of age to it that has this note, like don't write it off just yet. Have one of those extremely old whiskeys at some point, whether it's a pour at a bar, a friend shares a bottle with you. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Aged vanilla is a totally different note. It takes a long time for whiskeys to develop this thing because it has this presence in the glass that is like, it's so full-bodied, whereas if you get a young, let's just say like young Kentucky or a young MGP whiskey at 4 years old, and you smell vanilla, it's really a grain-forward vanilla kind of note that is sharp and kind of astringent almost. So this has that vanilla that I love. Sour on the palate. Sour as it rolls back. Very sour. Very dry, tannic. Good vanilla on nose. It's remarkable how different these are, but they're all variations on a theme. So, and it's a good palate on that one. Fruity. I couldn't tell you exactly what kind of fruit I'm dealing with yet on that, but all right, and now glass E. Roy, would you say Michter's 10 2023 has the aged vanilla taste? Yes. But I think this one actually has a little bit of an oatmeal note to it. Yeah. It's a little bit... And, you know, what is Michter's 2023 10-year? It's King of Kentucky proof down. I mean, that's like pretty... Presumably, let's just add the caveat, but it's pretty well established that this is Brown-Forman, and it is essentially King of Kentucky watered down, and that has that note to it. With all the water in here, going down to 94.4... Yeah, 94.4. It's also got this kind of oatmeal note. It's a little watery, but that's okay. Vanilla cream. Yeah, Mojo, totally, man. Like, I say aged vanilla because I'm trying to differentiate it from younger whiskey. But in a blind, if I don't know what it is, and I say aged vanilla and it ends up being a younger whiskey, then I feel like an idiot. But I still use that term just for my own, like, you know, attempt of identifying. Cream soda, it's evolved level of it. Dude. Oh, dude, you got to come on a live stream sometime. We got to nerd out about this because... When I'm dealing with that, or even some MGP for me moves from like artificial vanilla to buttercream to then like a root beer float that's been left out in the sun, and it's like funky and weird. Like that's the progression of MGP. And then on the other side, like Kentucky bottlings, they move into that cream soda. You're right, sarsaparilla cream soda after they go from aged vanilla. It's yeah, I love it, man. That's so true, man. One cock I had was I said it out loud. One King of Kentucky I had was Black Forest cake. Totally. Yeah. Nick, I can't put that on the screen. All right, glass E or glass 5. This is, oh man, what is that note? It's like savory pie crust. What is the note? It's so much aromatic spice on this. I'll be damned if that's not the Frankfurt. But again, I'm not here to guess, but I will write it down for posterity. Great finish on that one. Black pepper on the finish, but more aromatic spice on the nose and on the palate. Yeah. Yinstube says marzipan. No. I'm not going to say it. D. Willis says, hit that like, guys. This is good stuff. Thanks, man. Yeah, please hit that like, guys, if you have not already. Mojo, you know I can't put that on the screen. It's a family show, kind of. Okay. Aromatic spice. Let's do one more sip of glass 5. Grass on the front of the palate. That's weird. I've never picked that up on that before. Well, assuming it's Frankfurt. But again, I'm going to rank these not based on what I think they are. I'm going to rank them based on these notes. So let's go back through glass A, cherry tobacco smoke. Yep. Lively, good finish. Excuse me. The comments are still rolling in on that video, guys. We went from 201. Oh, wait. It still says 201, but I know I've gotten so many more. Push notifications. Interesting. Interesting to see people's take on this. Someone says, because I did that live stream earlier, that little 30-minute thing, it says, dude, you've generated an audience and following. You stated an opinion or theory, so either stand by it or retract and move on. Well, I'm standing by it, but I'm just being more clear so that there can be no misconstrued thoughts about it. But anyways, that's interesting. It's good to read a lot of this stuff, and also good not to read a lot of it. Jens too, dude. Well, look, man. It is interesting how it's the only time this channel has probably ever had any pull for anything on the secondary market, and in many ways it's taken out of context. So, at some point, I need to be more careful what I say and how I say it. I don't think I was particularly lazy in the video for saying that, but I should have been more clear that, hey, I'm just trying to use a term to explain this as I go through this video, but it's not something that's actually real. Yeah, whatever. All right, I love the nose on 1. Oh, wow. 3. What did I say 3 was? Chocolate-covered cherry. Totally. 1 and 2 are more similar than I thought. Good Lord. Jacob's Well. And, okay. Changing my mind on a few things. Yes, Nick. Let's feed the machine. Feed the machine. Oh, Yin's too. Oh, come on. Is microbatch what your wife calls you when you're being sassy? Oh, she knows I'm sensitive about that. She won't do it. She won't call me that. Okay, cherry Coke. Glass D, cherry Coke. I love it. It's just a little bit. It's not filled out enough for me. I want to find my last place. Glass D might be my last place. So far, D is in last. All right. No finish on 2. I said that about another one as well. On C, I said that. Huh. All right. D is my least favorite. So that's good to narrow that down. Let's go, Tim. Hey, check me on this. 3.1415926535897932334. Oh no, I lost it, dude. I used to know 40 digits of pi. 3.14159265358979323346264333832795022841971. There we go. Those are the first 40 digits of pi. I still have it, man. It was from like middle school, maybe I memorized that. All right. Just had a moment. Had a moment there. We're back. We're back. Let's go. I love the micro macro. I love this. This is so fun for me. Oh, the conspiracies. Nick, I'm reading your DM right now. Is that true or are you messing with me? And where did you see this? I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't need to be. I don't need any further, lambasting on this issue. Messing. Okay, good. Oh, God. I'm like, if this is true, what is happening? Nick commented, bro. Just comment that on the other video. Let's induce chaos. Come on. All right, let's get back to these. I have my least favorite. Let's find my least favorite of these. Hey, help me out, guys. I need to keep track of this. Did I say that glass D was this last place? Or was that glass E? Can somebody rewind and tell me if that's E or D? Josh Fritz, you're becoming the Alex Jones of bourbon. Yeah, on one like seemingly innocuous video, suddenly I am the conspiracy theorist of bourbon. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, I think that was glass D that I put in last. Does anybody remember? I'm so like in my head about these right now. I should have labeled them. Glass 1 smells like French fries a little bit. It was D. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Glass B's nice. C is... So A, B, C, E is what I have left. E is lively. I said E is aromatic spice. I thought that was probably Frankfurt. It's a little too much on the nose. D, or sorry, C. All right. C, I said no finish. I stand by that. No finish on C. It's weird. All right. My favorite is going to be between A and B. So I do know that. So let's rank these for 4th and 3rd place. I love the chat. Oh, the atrazine. I know Yin's tube is going in on the frogs. All right. All right, Glass C is in 4th place. Yep. Okay, now we're on to EBA. EBA. I think E is 3rd, but let me confirm. It's a good nose. It's too spicy on the palate. Too much black pepper. It's like distinct black pepper. All right, so between A and B. Ooh. A is good. A is very good. Balanced across the board. A little bit of everything. Earlier I said cherry tobacco smoke, lovely, good finish. Or lively, sorry. B, I said funky peanut butter, chocolate, mineral. I'm going to do one more tasting of these side by side before I decide my winner. Thank you for the 126 still hanging out tonight at an hour and 45 minutes deep. That's awesome. You are the reason that this channel is, starting to really grow, really take off, and I thank you so much for it. All right. All right, Glass B first. Ma'am. I have no more of Glass A to sip. It fell off a little bit on the finish. On that sip. I'm going to call A my winner, but this is so close between A and B. So close between A and B. So let's go through this now. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I think all of these are. I'm going to do my final rundown. In this order. 2, 1. Okay. I'm going to tell you what I think these are before I start revealing them. I think glass, in this order, from worst to best, I think I have Jacob's Well 2, Jacob's Well 1, Frankfurt, Boston, Claremont. I think Claremont won this. So let's see what we have. And in 5th place, which I said was was dry, tannic, good vanilla on the nose, good palate, fruity. Here we go. This is, oh wow, Frankfurt in last place. Okay, well that makes sense. I didn't like Frankfurt very much. I'll put the real answers down here. So in glass 4, I thought in 4th place would have been Jacob's Well Batch 1. But now all of this is totally screwed. So let's see what's in 4th. Jacob's Well 2. Okay. Jacob's Well 2. And about Jacob's Well 2, I said no finish. Interesting. Funky oak, chocolate-covered cherries. Yeah, okay. Now, in 3rd place, I believe this was glass E, which I said aromatic spice, weird grass, and then grass on the front of the palate. Glass E. As I come back to it, coffee and chocolate. It's Boston in 3rd place. Wow. That's my favorite. Usually. All right, in 2nd place, I thought was Boston. It's either Jacob's Well 1 or Claremont. I bet it's Jacob's Well 1. It's Claremont. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Claremont in 2nd place, which I said was funky peanut butter chocolate mineral. It does fall off in the finish. My winner, and I'm so sorry because I don't have enough of this bottle to send samples to either of the winners of tonight's giveaway. The winner is Jacob's Well Batch 1. I have this much left. Wow. I am so shocked. And about that glass, I said cherry, tobacco, smoke, lively, good finish. It kind of had everything. In the beginning, I said, let's see here. In the beginning, I said that glasses 1 and 4 were Jacob's Well, and I was correct. In the very beginning, I said that, and that's right. Glasses 1 and 4, or A and D, were both the Jacob's Wells. I changed my mind at the end, thinking that 3 and 4 were the Jacob's Wells, which meant that I thought Boston ended up being a Jacob's Well. It was not. But in the very beginning, I nailed this. On the very first down-the-line nosing, I said A and D were Jacob's Well. That was correct. And Jacob's Well Batch 1 wins this, and that was top 5 whiskeys of the year last year, in my opinion. I didn't put out a video to say that, but I do believe it. Incredible. I only got a sample last year, and I bought a bottle this year after the fact. And 2nd place, Claremont, and 3rd place, Boston. So for me, Frankfurt and Jacob's Well 2 are not it. And I have a backup of Jacob's Well 2, and I'm going to probably dispose of that in some way. All right. So we got Franklin Johnson. Thank you for the super chat. You're in for one. Amy's got you. Thank you, Amy, for staying in it at this point. Reppin' A22 gang. And Chance Down says Microbatch is taking over secondary. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Congrats on 5K. Thanks, man. You're in for 2. Amy's got you. Josh Fritz, you guys are killing me. All right. Nick, I love you, bro. Dude, we need to hang out. Nick, I know I'm at the end of like a long live stream. I've had a lot of whiskey and I'm going, we need to hang out. I know what that looks like. But honest to God, dude, this is not just the millennial in me going, yeah, let's hang out. And then we never do. And then we die. We actually need to hang out, dude, because I love hanging out with you. And we need to get and I need to bring Sarah with me as well. And you need to bring, oh my God, Ashley, right? Did I mess this up? It's going to be awkward if I mess this up. Ashley, duh. Yes, I'm right. Okay. I was like, oh my God, did I just forget your wife's name? I'm going to feel like an absolute asshole. No. We need to get Sarah and Ashley together too. We need to have a freaking hang, dude. It's a lot of whiskey. It's a lot of whiskey tonight. All right. So Frank Stallone. I experienced something similar to the ECBP batch variation with Larceny 523. Palate was nothing like... Frank, I'm going to be honest with you, man. The batch variation could be an issue, but I just didn't think... Look, Larceny 523 was very good, but people way overblew that on reviews, at least for me. So let's say, for instance, that batch variation was a thing, and you and I had the same issue. That would make sense to me because I was reading things about that batch, and here's what I sincerely believe about a lot of reviewers online. I think they look around and see what a consensus, like what consensus is forming, what is the orthodoxy about this batch, and then they take it to the extreme so that they can have this representative opinion of the masses, and they try to conglomerate all that data and all those tasting notes in their review, and they spit it out so that they become the authority on something in order to get clicks and views. I do believe that happens. So it depends on, who you're watching, who you're reading. I intentionally will not watch reviews before I taste and review a product. And if I do, I tend to say look, I watched, Matt's review or the Junkies or somebody. But 9 times out of 10, I'm not reading or watching reviews anymore because I think it means more, even if nobody knows that I did or didn't watch a review ahead of time. It doesn't even matter. It just means more to me personally to not do that. All right. Clay, what's up? Oh my gosh. It's a very generous super chat, man. Good evening, Cam. At all, have been under the weather for most of Christmas, but just wanted to stop by to wish folks safe and fun New Year's. Cam, usual first-time winner drill on the off chance I win. So, Clay is in for 75, which is 15 entries into the giveaway. But we're going to put him in for whoever a first-time winner would be. So... we'll see if Clay ends up getting one of the first 3 spots, we will roll down to the next person who is a first-time winner on the channel. I can corroborate that, by searching through my email or not. But I'll get him in here. Just good old me in for 15 entries. And I will do first time winner. So thank you, Clay, man, for doing that. That's amazing. And I appreciate the super chat, the support. And I hope you're feeling a little bit better, man. Jeez. Philip, did the flight with you. We got the sampler pack for Christmas. Our order was Frankfurt, Claremont, and Boston. The finish on the Frankfurt was our favorite. And that is true, man. So Frankfurt ended up in last place, but the finish, it is a good finish because Frankfurt is a spicy whiskey. Frankfurt's spicy, Boston is oaky and kind of dull, and Claremont is sweet, but still also doesn't really have a good finish. It's interesting. Yin Soup says, I've never won. Fingers crossed. Chance Downs. Wow, Clay, very generous. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah, man. Clay is awesome with these giveaways. I mean, sincerely supporting the channel and supporting other people drinking whiskey, and so that's really, really cool. Tim, Michael, that's funny. You don't go crazy for weeders, though, do you? It's just not, Tim, not largely. I think that's a category that has been way overblown after all the Pappy and Weller hype, over the last 40, 30, 40 years. That's a category that has so much hype behind it that is in some ways not warranted, because a lot of the weeders coming out today are young, very spicy. You might even mistake them for like heavy rye whiskeys, or bourbons with high rye content, I should say. Jens Tube, I agree. It would be nice to get in contact with someone from Heaven Hill. Sorry, Nick. Yes, it was in my brain. I said it. I said it before I checked. I just want to be sure I'm right. All right, let's do this giveaway, guys. You have let's say at 10 p.m. Eastern, it just turned 9:58. You have 2 minutes. Any final super chats? I'm not encouraging anybody to further super chat. You've been so generous tonight, guys. And I have a few more to get to here in the Venmo before we wrap this up and do this giveaway. And I'll check PayPal as well. So I'm not encouraging you to super chat further. There have been so many entries, so much generosity tonight, so much support of the channel, and I just want to say thank you again to everybody who, has been here for a long time supporting Drums and Drams, and for a lot of the new folks who are jumping in after this this latest video. You guys are awesome. Absolutely crazy. We're almost at 5,200 subscribers, so it's awesome. Wow. Micro batch those super chats, says Jens too. All right, so we got like another minute on the super chats, and then we'll wrap this up. So let me get to these Venmos right now. I've gotten to Adam, so we have 3 more in Venmo. So Amy's gonna grab this probably. Jimmy Copeland, thank you, man. What's up, Mr. Hyperthymesia? What does that mean? The uncommon ability that allows a person to spontaneously recall with great accuracy and detail a vast number of personal events or experiences and their associated dates. Jimmy, so I have a friend who must have this. His name is Kramer, which is an awesome name. My buddy from college, Kramer, one of my best friends. We don't talk very often, but he's still one of my best friends. He lives in Nashville. He drums for a lot of big guys, a lot of big acts that tour around the country. Anyways, he can recall, he'll be like, dude, Martin Luther King Day, 2013, we were at this movie theater watching American Sniper, and I'm like, okay, I believe you. He knows everything. But anyways, guys, Jimmy's saying this because, we ran into each other at Pours in the Park, and I remembered his face from his picture when we were doing literally a secondary deal on Lucky 7 batch barrel 42. Excuse me, barrel 72. Good Lord. 42, the meaning of the universe. But barrel 72, the best Lucky 7 barrel to come out. But I appreciate it, Jimmy. Thanks, man. And by the way, Jimmy, I talked to my colleague about that Prideful Goat 3. He says don't worry about it. I figured, but he doesn't want to spend, that much money on a bottle. He did like it. I get it. All right, probably one of the last super chats. We're wrapped up here, guys. No more super chats for the giveaway. Joel Parrish in for one entry. Amy's gotcha. And let me grab these last couple Venmos here from Adam, Brian, and Daryl. Who do we have first? We have Adam S. in for 8 entries, a $40 super chat. Thank you, Adam. And he says, have a happy new year. Appreciate it, man. Brian S. says, sign me up. And Brian, $10 super chat in for 2 entries. And last but not least, Daryl K. with a $5 super chat in for 1 with a coffee mug. Cheers, man. Thank you so much. Let me do one last check of the PayPal. I'm going to pull the banner down now so there's no confusion. I think we're good. Let's check this out. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And we still have 120 in here. That's crazy. If you haven't already, I will one last time ask you to hit that like button just to support the channel. So here is what we have. And there are quite a few names on this list. Let's go to 110 and see if we can find or see everybody's names. No, not quite. Here's what we're going to do. For the next 60 seconds, find your name on this list. Here's how this works. If you've been here before, you know this. Your name is on the left. Your number of entries is on the right, which is your dollar amount divided by 5. So how many entries you have. Toshi, 20 on the beginning here. You know, Toshi, 20 entries is $100 super chat. 20 times 5, $100. Find your name. Confirm on this list. You know, don't send a message in the chat unless there's a problem with your name. If you don't see your name, I will scroll down here in a second because there are more names. But I'm going to start here at the top with Toshi. Just take a look. If there's an issue, let me know. And if you did enter twice, there are maybe 1 or 2 of you tonight that entered twice, which would be Adam Boothby sent 2 different entries. Adam, right here, you can see my cursor with 2 entries would be a $10 super chat. He did this twice. His other entry is going to be below Albert here. So we will get to that in a second. But if you did send, for instance, 2 entries, your name will appear twice because it is by entry, not by the total number that you've submitted. Jimmy Copeland says, oh, damn, I just figured out I wasn't live. What's up, man? All right, so I'll give these people on this list, Toshi down to Albert, like the next 15 seconds. And then we're going to scroll down to the whoever is remaining underneath this, confirm with them. And just a reminder, if you do win this giveaway tonight, we have 3 prizes. The first prize is the 200 milliliter sample pack from Hardin's Creek. A beautiful presentation. This is like immaculate. Plus another sampler of Jacob's Well Batch 2. Unfortunately, you don't get the winner of the flight tonight, which is Jacob's Well Batch 1. But I'm going to say this. If I find another bottle of Jacob's Well Batch 1, I will send samples. I will send flasks. I will send a 200 milliliter flask to the winner of this first place giveaway. And I will send a sample to the second place winner of tonight's giveaway. Whoever those people may be, if I find another bottle, I will buy it. I will send it to you guys. And the third place winner tonight will get a bottle of this Seelbach 9-year private reserve, which, again, I talked about earlier, needs a little bit of water to really come to life. Presumably or rumored to be 9.5-year, basically Heaven Hill, with a weird mash bill of 75, 15, 10, 131 proof. So 3 winners this evening. We're going to scroll down now to the remaining people in the giveaway. So at the very bottom is Daryl. And at the very top, Paul Madden. And Paul Madden has already checked this out because Albert was the cutoff on that previous column. So from Albert down, just check your entries, guys. Jeffrey, Chris, Adam, James, Sip and Slice, Tim, Franklin, Chance Downs, Clay. We know we got Clay in here. Jimmy Copeland, Joel, Adam, Brian, Daryl. Just check your entries just to confirm that I'm not screwing anything up. And I will one more time check my Venmo and PayPal. All right, let's see. Hashtag microbatch. I love this, guys. Okay, let's do it. Let's run this thing. Seems like we're good. 170 entries. Thank you all so freaking much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I copied, paste. There you go. There's all the entries. We're going to run this 7 times. Lucky number 7. Top 3 winners. Clay is going to roll down to whoever is a first-time winner. Here we go. Randomize 1. Oh, geez. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. Final spin. Number 7. Okay, so Toshi wins the sample pack. Guy wins the secondary sample pack. Toshi and Guy cannot win twice. Clay appears in column 5, but he wants to roll down to a first-time winner. So Toshi, Guy, Toshi. Noah. I believe Noah has won before. Let me confirm. Noah has won. So we're going to roll down to Brian S. Brian S. Brian, have you won a giveaway before? I don't believe you have, but let me confirm. I'm going to look in my email. I don't believe you have. So it looks to me like Toshi wins this Hardin's Creek sample pack with... Toshi, you have so much stuff coming your way, dude. Oh, my God. What day is it? The 28th? 12/28. Toshi wins H Creek Sampler and Jacob's Well 2 sample. Guy wins samples of HC and others. I'll add some cool stuff in there for you, Guy. Whiskey BS, I'm Brian S. First time winner. Awesome, man. So here's the deal. I have I have Guy and Toshi's info. So Brian, shoot me an email. drumsanddrams@gmail.com. Make sure that's good. Put it on the screen. Okay. So Brian, send me an email, drumsanddrams@gmail.com. Just, let me know that you won tonight, and especially send me your address, and I will get this out ASAP. I have a lot of things to box, to pour out in samples, label, box up, send out. I'm gonna get all this out at the same time. So I have Guy in for the sample pack, and Guy, I'll throw some cool stuff in there too, man, that's coming in. And then Brian S. is going to win the Seelbach 9-year. So congrats, guys. Awesome. Thank you all for your support tonight. I can't believe Jacob's Well Batch 1 took this home, but in some ways I can believe that because that's just the hilarious irony of having not enough to give samples out of that bottle. And I do apologize. So this was amazing. Thank you for celebrating with me tonight. Thanks for sticking by me with all this crazy Elijah Craig, drama. Little Chateau de la Baude Batch 1. So good. And I'm going to end the night with the contested pour This is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923 A233. A233. Supposedly a good one. It smells very good. Cheers, guys. Thank you all so much. And reminder, there's 100 people left in here tonight. I'm going to be live Saturday night. I think 8:30 or 9 p.m. TBD. Talking whiskeys of the year. Testing different bottles. I hope you can hang out Saturday night. It's New Year's Eve. You know, if you can be here, come hang out. I don't know if I'm going to do a giveaway. If I did, it would just be a sampler of, you know, like my top whiskeys of the year or something like that. But either way, giveaway or not, hope you can come hang out. Cheers. Thank you all so much. And I will see you in 2 days. And then we've got a lot of videos coming out tomorrow. Look out for that 10-year rye comparison, Overholt versus Parker's Heritage. Assuming that I can get it out, I have to teach a little bit of, some drum lessons tomorrow. Hang out with Sarah, but I think I can get that video out. All right. Cheers, guys.